Okay, scrappers, welcome back to the channel. Something a little different today. It's a little different, but we wind up getting these boards from Ptac, and generally they're usually good. I used to sell them on eBay. Unfortunately, when I'd sell them on eBay, they would definitely always call eBay and say, this didn't work, and then eBay would give me a black mark and take the money back out of my account. So I stopped doing that, but now I found a way to move them. You go to smaller hotels and sell them to them as used boards for, you know, I got 30 bucks a piece for these, so that's $180 for 6, and I told them I'd throw one in case one of them was bad. And yeah, so if you get your hands on Ptac, pull the boards out, and the number on the boards is right here. It's a M61 style, is for the Amanas, and yeah, it's worth it. It's better than the scrap price. So yeah, anyways, just wanted to give you that little bit there, and now I think I'm going to actually, let me show you what one looks like when it's burned up. Hold on one second. All right, yeah, it's you can see here it's all burned, and on the back side, so you can pretty much tell when they are absolute junk. Occasionally you'll get one of those will go out inside there without burning up, and that's why I'm throwing in the extra board for them, because yeah, it'll the contactor will stop working in there, and it'll be that. Yeah. So now I'm going to work on cutting up some copper and brass scrap, kind of tedious stuff. So I'll add that content to this video. So we'll talk to you soon. All right, scrappers, was cutting on this stuff for about an hour, and did that time lapse, and this is what we got so far out of that pile, and we still got all this to go. So yeah, it's kind of time consuming, but it's got to be done. And yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll maybe go back into time lapse and try to finish this up, and then we'll weigh it, and then maybe I'll do some videos about getting the copper out of these over here. So yeah, let me set up a time lapse and we'll continue on. All right, so give me a minute. I'm gonna clean this up and then we're gonna weigh this stuff. Okay, scrappers, we're back. Cleaned up a little bit and got the scale. We're on pounds and ounces. I don't recall how much these buckets weigh, but it isn't very much. So anyways, for the brass, we got 7 pounds, 14 ounces. So maybe 7 pounds of brass. So I don't know if that bucket weighs 14 ounces or not. I got one right here, let's weigh it. Don't know if the scale will even register that. 4 ounces. So we had 7 pounds 14, so 7 pounds 10 ounces, almost 8 pounds. And then for the copper, we got 10 pounds. 10 pounds 12 ounces minus 4 is 8. 10 pounds 8 ounces. And then this stuff was in that big bucket, and I had weighed the big aluminum bucket that's right here with all this stuff that we cut up in there, and it was 34 pounds. But that included this stuff here and a little bit that's in there in the bucket already. So this stuff here brings it up to 13 pounds. Anyways, what do you guys know? Let me know in the comments. Do we need to cut these open to get that little tiny rubber grommet out of there? Or maybe I should call my scrap yard and see what they say. I bet you Phil would know if I called the scrap yard. Should we call the scrap yard right now? That might be fun, huh? Okay, scrappers, let's call Phil at Sadov's Iron and Metal and see if we need to cut these open or not.
The preferred choice in recycling. Your call is very important to us, so please listen closely to the following menu options. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now. To schedule a scrap pickup with our dispatch team, please press 1. For shipping or logistical needs, please press 2. If you would like our most current general scrap pricing, please press 3. For all other...
Good afternoon, Sadov Iron and Metal. This is Mary.
Hi, Mary. This is Dennis from Oshkosh.
Hey, Dennis. How you doing?
Pretty good. Is Phil around or no?
What do you need help with, Dennis?
Well, I'm cutting up some copper and brass, and I got some of those water pipes with like the new type of elbows that you don't that they crimp them on, and there's no solder, but there's a little rubber grommet in the inside. Do we need to cut them open to get that grommet out of those?
Let me give Phil a call, and I will give you a call right back. Okay, Dennis?
All right, sounds good. Well, there. Mary will help, right? She's the one that writes the checks. Hello.
Hey, Dennis. Okay, so I talked to Phil, and the water pipe with the elbows, he said that even though there's no soldering, he said unfortunately you still have to cut the elbows off.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is after we cut the elbows off, are those considered number 2, or do we have, if we want number 1, do we have to cut them open and get that rubber seal out of there?
Yep, that was my next thing. If you want good pricing, then the rubber grommet has to come out too.
Okay, but otherwise it can go into number 2?
I didn't ask him, man. Let me call him back quick, and I'll call you back, Dennis.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye. Well, look at that, huh? And yes, I started smoking again. I quit for almost a year. And then I fell off the bandwagon. So now I got to get back on the bandwagon. So that's cool. So let's wait for Mary to call Phil. And usually Phil answers when you know, he must be in a meeting or something. Who knows? Or maybe he's homesick. Because yesterday I thought I was coming down with something. I was just chilled to the bone. I could not get warm for about 4 hours. And then it seemed to go away, and I feel fine today. Here's Mary. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so Phil says that as long as the elbows are copper, then if you don't take them apart, they would be number 2. And the rubber, if you don't take the rubber out of them, then it'll be taken as copper breakage. He said it would be a high-end copper breakage then.
Okay. He just wants me to cut these things out and get that stuff out of there.
Well, yeah, if you can, if you want better pricing, then yeah. If you don't want to go through it, then you can bring it in for the breakage at number 2.
The breakage in number 2.
Guess it depends on how much work you want to put into it.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but I guess I don't understand breakage or number 2.
You don't understand number 2?
Well, I understand what number 2 is, but I mean, like, you know, I just don't know if those little rubber grommets are gonna, why those would make a difference. Because like when you bring in yolks from
the rubber, they're not copper. Where the elbows would be copper. Unless they have rubber inside of them, then those would also be taken as a breakage.
Alrighty. Because I see a lot of other guys on the internet, their yards aren't caring about that little bit of rubber inside of them. But
oh,
yeah, it's weird. Because like when you bring in yolks from like the old TVs, those got like glue and stuff gobbed on them, and they don't care about that. But because I'll tell you, it's a chore to cut these things open.
yeah. Yep, I believe that.
Alrighty. Well,
So, yeah, it's up to you whether you want to do the work to get the extra money or just bring it in as is.
all right, sounds good. Thanks much. You have a great weekend.
Thank you, Dennis. You too. Take care.
Yep, bye-bye. I think I'll call back Phil because it just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, if you bring in yolks, after you pull the things out, there's still glue gupped on them and that you can't get off. I mean, you try to get most of it off, but there's still some on there. I mean, you look at the guy from Project Shop, Florida. Cripes, he would never be able to sell this stuff down here or up here in Wisconsin. It's crazy. I mean, he pulls the copper out of transformers. He doesn't even take the paper or anything off of them, or the wire off of them that has insulation on it. He just pushes it out and throws her in the bin and says, "Sender." I wish we could do that. Well, hey, if you stuck with me this long, be sure to tell everybody about the old guy to Scrap-Meister. Like, subscribe, share with all your friends and all that cool stuff, and watch one of the cool videos that's on screen right now.